Good, happy Monday evening, January 17, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Monday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, ocean waters flood coastal New Hampshire as strong winds and heavy rain pound coastline. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Welcome to Beltates Building Products.
Homeowners and contractors have different needs when it comes to home repairs and improvements, but Beltates is...
Well, look behind me, Gene. This is what we're seeing at pretty much any juncture any low-lying road that abuts the marsh from Seabrook up through the Hamptons. And the reason is the tide. You know, the tide peaked just a few minutes ago. So many roads closed because that wind was just blowing heavy surf up and down the coast. Cars are braving this stuff, not thinking through the salt is so bad for their cars. But earlier, probably about an hour ago, we were at the Rye Northampton line, and you could just see the power and the fury of the ocean crashing over the berm at a beach that usually gets some erosion, but this was pretty severe. In fact, the state already had its plows and front-end loaders trying to push some of that debris back that was blowing across the road. It ended up being not only impassable but dangerous because those rocks were flying. And then further on, almost everywhere you went when you tried to leave there, roads were closed for the very same reason. So many cars trying to get around, some pushing past closures and driving through deep water. Really a mess all up and down the coast. We know Route 1 at the Hampton Falls Hampton line is closed because the marsh breached there as well. The good news is, as the chief in Rye said to us, this is one and done. This storm is moving out of here. There's going to be a lot of damage to clean up in the afternoon, but they do ask people stay away right now because the roads are still impassable in so many places. Thankfully that rain is gone, but the impact of the rain and wind is going to stay with us probably for the next 6 to 8 hours here on the coast. Live here in Hampton, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Road conditions improve after storm brings heavy, wet snow and icy mix to New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Walmart, America's largest, is hiring. Earn up to $28 per hour plus benefits working at Walmart's distribution center. Get a $5,000 sign-on bonus, but hurry, you must be hired before January 31st. Apply today online or text DC to 240240. Watkins, welcome.
We were at Waterville Valley skiing this morning. We braved the trip up there this morning. It was a fun white knuckle ride.
Was it?
Yeah. It was, snowing pretty hard.
Ski resorts rejoicing over the jackpot of fresh snow, but wind complicated a perfect day for holiday revelers. Loon, Bretton Woods, and Cannon closed early. So did Waterville Valley, according to their official Twitter accounts. How were conditions on the mountain, though?
They were fantastic until the power went out, and then the mountain got shut down.
News 9 set out to find the rain-snow line Monday morning. New Hampton marked the conversion to sleet and snow.
Heavy stuff really didn't start coming down until about 7. Between 7 and 10, it was quite nasty out here in New Hampton and Meredith. It's hard to keep up, and we're just doing the best we can.
This storm asked a lot of tires and windshield wipers. 93 shifted from wet pavement to problematic ponding in some spots. And when trucks passed us, visibility was lost under a wave of water.
We were able to go 70 miles an hour until we saw the temperature start dropping. Dropped about 10 degrees within about 15 minutes. And then once we hit to 32, everything just started slowing down and it became pretty dangerous.
John is headed to the Woodstock Inn for a quick getaway. And then?
Next week I go to Florida, so forget about this stuff. I'm done with it.
So if you're lucky to have tomorrow off or are able to finagle tomorrow off, conditions on the slopes should be prime. In fact, boss, I think I've got a bit of a cold coming on.
We're live along 93. Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Fire tears through residential building in Manchester. 3 taken to hospital. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
What you doing, babe?
Just looking at some old photos. I wonder what he looks like nowadays.
Well, Gene, Manchester fire officials tell me that the fire started on the second floor of this home, and the people inside tried putting the fire out themselves before calling 911. The fire department says that 7 people were inside of the home when the fire started. Most were were able to get out on their own, but firefighters did assist some who were trapped on the first floor. 3 residents were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. There are also 4 pets inside, and they are all accounted for. Manchester Fire says that when they arrived on scene, there was heavy smoke and flames. Battalion Chief Bidet says that the weather was also a factor in putting that fire out.
Due to the conditions, the heavy wind and heavy flame conditions, the crews were pulled out of the building a couple of times just to reset and go to defensive operations until we could knock the fire down a little bit, and then they went back in.
The fire department says that the damages are estimated at over $200,000. Right now, it is being ruled as accidental, but they do not have an exact cause for the fire. Reporting live in Manchester, Alyssa Ali, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Michael's Oceanfront Motel, 4 other buildings destroyed in wind-fanned 9-alarm fire in Salisbury, Massachusetts. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
The kindness of others. We all depend on it. When we need help, when we need hope. Kindness is powerful. We are the people behind the HCA Healthcare Promise. You can count on us to show up.
It pretty much looked like hell. What, I envisioned hell to look like.
A massive fire erupted in the seaside neighborhood in Salisbury while most residents were sleeping.
I heard this rumble like an earthquake, kind of.
Residents in one of the buildings that caught fire were awakened by an alert neighbor.
Pretty much knocked on everybody's door, wake everybody up, so in my eyes, she's my hero, my big sister.
Officials say firefighters confronted hurricane-force winds, spreading the fire easily. In the end, an oceanfront motel and 4 residential buildings were destroyed. Nearby homes also suffered damage.
And Salisbury's history is probably one of the biggest fires in the past 25 years.
The Red Cross opened a warming center for 36 residents displaced by the fire.
Oh, I like that.
Tammy Gardner is getting much-needed clothes and blankets from her sister after losing everything in the fire.
It was very devastating. I mean, so surreal, I was in a dream because I was sleeping pills, and I'm like, is this for real? And then I went outside, there's flames everywhere. Oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible.
As investigators try to figure out a cause, dozens now try to rebuild their lives.
We're out safe, we're alive, God bless, the sun's shining.
Go from there.
Go from there, that's it.
There were 100 firefighters here on scene battling this massive blaze. And the fire captain here in Salisbury tells us that every town in Essex County, every town, ended up sending at least one piece of fire equipment to help battle this blaze.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Crews restore power to thousands of Mainers who lost electricity during storm. Central Maine power crews made progress restoring electricity to thousands of people who lost power during Monday's snowstorm. Central Maine Power reported about 1,400 outages as of 6 p.m. Monday. That was down from about 11,000 late Monday morning. CMP said it hopes to restore power to nearly all customers by Monday evening. The company said it saw more than 30,000 customers impacted by the storm. CMP said it has 200 line workers deployed to the hardest hit areas, along with help from 400 contracted line crews and 135 tree crews. The power outages were not widespread and were primarily in coastal areas that saw high winds from the storm. And we are going to switch gears now and let's go into your weather for this evening. And here's your evening weather from meteorologist Pete Bouchard.
Did you know that...
Oops, sorry about that.
VA provides a clothing allowance for qualified veterans.
Veterans benefits are always changing, and we've got your back. The Sit Rep is a show by veterans for veterans that answers questions about VA disability, VA home loans, VA health care, and even ones you didn't know you had.
Let's jump right into it. Are VA police real cops?
Allow us the privilege of connecting you with the benefits you earned and deserve. Search hashtag the Sit Rep on YouTube and subscribe today.
First alert weather on NBC 10 Boston. Boston's most accurate forecast, certified by Weather Rate.
It's going to be a shame if that's the last we see of Phil Perry for a while. First alert weather now. Check out this video from Winthrop. All of the sand, my goodness, covering cars along Winthrop Beach. Just a mess in that area. Of course, it's really important to get that sand out of your engine before you start your car. But that's a lot of sand to get out of the engine.
It's such a weird sight, isn't it? But I guess that's what happens when you're by the water there. Pete joining us now. Pete, we've seen the worst from the high tides today.
We have, yeah. The next tide cycle is not as high, and the wind direction has changed, too. So that bodes well, too. Lower tides overnight tonight as we face that wolf moon. You'll see some peaks of that later tonight as the clouds break up, especially late night. Colder tomorrow with still a stiff wind around, unfortunately. Some recovery by midweek as we get back into the 40s, too. So we lost a lot of the snowpack in eastern Mass. In fact, it's vanished in eastern Mass. Still some pockets in central Mass, but even there, I think it's in jeopardy with that warm up by midweek. 40 now in Waltham, 40 in Reading, Topsfield at 41 degrees. Man, that wind was howling through the North Shore, Cape Ann, all along the coast, and it did get back through Natick. Some of those gusts were still up to 30 to 40. Right now, Canton is at 40, 37 in Hopkinton. We step back into the mid-30s in Worcester and mid-40s out in Nantucket, with the gusts still 30-plus in the wake of the storm. In case you're wondering, the storm system is right here near Rutland, Vermont. Right underneath it, it's 33 degrees. On the backside of it, 20s. We had heavy snow, like close to almost 2 feet in some spots in western New York and back into southern Ontario. Pretty incredible stuff. That's on the cold side of the storm. If it tracked just a little bit offshore, that could have been us, right? But it's not. But we'll get the colder air behind that weather system, too. We're kind of in that limbo state where we're still in the mild air, so to speak, and waiting for the cold shoe to drop later tonight. And that will switch over any leftover rain showers to snow showers. I'm not seeing much of an accumulation. If we get anything, it could be a coating. But that wind direction is changing to the northwest by morning. It takes a good part of the night to drop back to freezing in Boston, but the suburbs first back into the upper 20s. Gusts tomorrow, oh my, 30 plus at times, maybe close to 40 miles an hour, as we're still in the grips of that weather system. We have, yes, moved away from it, but it's still pretty large and the wind field still with us. And that means a wind chill factor with highs only near freezing that will fall back into the teens. Not a pleasant Tuesday if you're stepping outside or just, got to get work done outside. Single digits maybe later in the day. As that colder air kind of focuses on us late day and into the evening. High of about 32 degrees. That's it. And then on Wednesday, back into those almost mid-40s. What a turnaround, right? Plymouth at 48. Same in New Bedford at 44 in Lynn. Boston about 44 degrees. and 43 back to Rentham and Franklin. Worcester should even crack 40 degrees. Exclusive 10-day now has us in that quiet state later in the week with colder air coming right in. Thursday's kind of an odd day. The overnight low temperatures are close to the high temperatures for the day because the front's going through, and we could have a morning rain shower, not snow. But we are watching a weekend storm very carefully now. There's been some indication of that for quite some time now, and it seems like it's going to be a little close to us. So we'll put the snow in there. And overall, the pattern is pretty cold, even into next week. We'll detail that storm potential on the weekend coming up next half hour, Jeff.
Okay, Pete.
Okay, and there you go. That was your evening weather forecast from meteorologist Pete Bouchard. Thank you for that weather forecast, Pete Bouchard. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.